What's up, chat? Happy Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. We have got a giant game of basketball tonight. I'm Gunn, joined by at Chronic BI, released from health and safety protocols as Raj gets entered into health and safety protocols. The league, man, we're broken. I can't catch a break with you guys.
That game is like the NBA game, man. You gotta be fluid.
Yeah, the more I think back on it, a couple weeks ago when I had my little sickness, and I just wonder. But you ain't see me take no days off. Oh, actually, you did, but whatever. Whatever. What's up, chat? What's up? Let's see. Let's read them out. Let's get all the shout outs going. My love, Danielle, J Smooth, Chronic, what's up, Chronic? Hey, Justin Brooks, what up, Justin? Josh Jennings, Skimmer 930, Brian, the Andersons got tickets to the chat. Brody in the chat turned 25 into 500 last night. Let's go, Brody. What up, Victor Padilla? What up, Nate D? 11 games I'm donating. Come on, man. We got this. There's only a million pieces of news to keep tabs on. This banger is playing my little one's favorite. Man, you got the kids bobbing their head to the Gundacker intro. I love it. What a mighty saint. EB in the chat. J. Cole. Jermaine. Cole. Raj his mono. Raj went on a ski trip or something. He said that all the group are sick, and last I checked, it wasn't confirmed, the big Rona, but listen to your government, Canada. they literally shut down, and he goes on a giant ski trip. But yeah, he's going with the cough, and that's what you had, right? I mean, you had the light cough, nothing really else. It was a
light cough, runny nose, then it would turn to a stuffy nose. It was weird, man. It's questionable symptoms.
Yeah, no, that's like literally kind of like what I had. So that really makes me think that maybe it was, but thankfully it wasn't more severe. And we're good. We're putting you right back in the starting lineup. I will say this: a lot of people have been asking me, Chronic, all day, how many minutes I might be giving you. I'm gonna monitor your minutes today on the stream. Gonna make sure that I like what I see. If I see that we have some conditioning issues, I might have to, bench you for a little bit. But you let me know. You let
All
me
right,
know.
we go. Modern minutes end up playing a whole
Oh
48.
yeah.
Get out of here. I guess we Nick Nurse out here.
Steve Nash. Steve Nash said something similar about Kyrie today. What up,
Hmm.
Damu? Keg's live show. Lorenza, Lenny. What up, Lenny? What up, Brooklyn Silver? What up, Frank? You think it's a little K guy day today? Chronic, do you think it's a good day for a little gay guy? You
A
know,
little gay guy back. I don't know, man. A little white Vassell.
Andrew Martinez. What up, Martinez? Middleton too cheap on Fanduel at 7.2. Bro, I feel like the last couple times I ran straight to Middleton at 7K with Giannis out, like my results weren't super optimal, but we will definitely chop that up. Giannis, one of the big notable outs today. JNY DFS year. What's up, everybody, man? You guys are awesome. Last night, Karate Julius Randle led the entire slate fantasy points, 59 of them. Second, Fred VanVleet, 53.5. Devin Booker, my boy, the cover boy, 50.75. The freest of squares on FanDuel.com. Jared Allen, 49.5. Darius Garland, 49.5. RJ Barrett, 48.5. Who landed on the RJ Barrett, Julius Randle stack? Man, that was really, really nice. John Morant, 48. J Val, 48. And then LeBron James, the chalkiest player on the slate, 47.25. So definitely was a path to success without LeBron at his price point, because there was a ton of 40 pluses. Even the homie Devontae Graham got in on the 40 plus action. And the weirdest 40 on the slate, I think, was Dwight Howard. 22 minutes of action. There was some foul trouble. LeBron started at center of that game. I don't know if you saw the jump ball clip. But when he has started at center so far, that usually results in Dwight Howard, DeAndre Jordan not really being part of the action. But Howard got out there for 22 minutes, 14-14. So if you got to Dwight Howard, you absolutely own a time machine. In which case, call me. Last month though, don't call me today. You know what I'm saying? Call me anyway.
You know what the Powerball is. That's all, man. I need 5 numbers from you.
Just one time. If I had a time machine, what would you do? Like everyone that says lotteries.
Right. Yeah, but there's the sentimental people that's like, I'll go back and meet my great grandma. Fuck that. No.
God dang. I would prevent COVID from happening, and
I'm
really
going straight to the Powerball,
like,
bro.
nope. I want to know. I want to make a 18 game parlay. Gosh darn it!
I'm trying to share that milli with Alex, man.
Gamblers. What up, Rich homie Quad? Hit the quad. Anchor in the chat. All right, we have a ton of stuff to chop up today, so we're gonna not spend too much time in the haze and the hose, but we will start with a little bit of news here. So let me pull up Underdog here to see if Fan put out that 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Eastern tweet. He did. So let's get that going. That'll be our segue into the slate. Key news to watch as of 3 p.m. Eastern via Underdog _ NBA. Trae Young questionable. Karl Anthony Towns, the big cat. Ernie Ladd on track to play. D'Angelo Russell on track to play. Rudy Gobert questionable. Donovan Mitchell probable. Cole Anthony questionable. Malcolm Brogdon doubtful. Wendell Carter Jr. questionable. There's a slew of other notable pieces of information, not necessarily as significant as those, and we did get some other big news that could definitely sculpt. Is that the sculpt? Sculpt. Is that the sculpt?
I know what you mean.
Is that the word though?
Yeah, the sculpt the slate. Yeah.
That could sculpt the slate. Sculpt.
Yeah, like when you make a sculpture, you sculpt it.
Yeah, you do.
Huh.
Well, the Giannis Antetokounmpo news could sculpt this. It just doesn't sound right.
Like sculpt. It's a PT at the end.
Sculpt. It could sculpt. Now it sounds like 2 syllables. Anyway, Giannis Antetokounmpo news could be important for this slate. Not could be. It is important for this slate. He's out. That'll obviously boost Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton usage rates and interest levels, and even throw in some of the other guys. Otto Porter out for injury management. They tend to babysit him on back-to-back, so I'm assuming there's a back-to-back tomorrow. Iguodala also. So you might be seeing a boosted minutes for their wing rotation, maybe JTA, Nemanja Bjelica, guys like that. Scrolling through here, Hassan Whiteside went through shoot around this morning while Rudy Gobert did not. So that could be an interesting spot for Whiteside, and that would be an incredible spot for Jokic. Jabari Parker Dental on track to play. Nothing else big here, it looks like. So we'll revisit all the bits of pieces of news as we go game by game here. But before we do that, reminder that this stream is the franchise show, the flagship show of RunDFS.com. That's the place where we don't just play DFS, we run DFS. If you guys want to be part of the premium Discord, that's where it all goes down before locks. You are pre-lock voice chat, have a little fun. Also get access to my spreadsheet projections, get a fantasy cruncher voucher, all that good stuff. Go to rundfs.com, click memberships, find the one that's right for you. If you never tried it before, hit the $20 week pass. What's the worst? What's the difference in $20? You'll get NFL this weekend. You'll get NBA every day, light coverage on Sunday, but every other day I'll do pre-lock voice chats, all that good stuff. And yeah, we added to the family. My boy Luke, golf is back tomorrow. Maybe that's a New Year's resolution for me, is to try and dip my waters into the toes of golf. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I'll pick his brain a little bit. But if you haven't checked out Luke yet, he did put up a jock market video on the channel yesterday. Looks like we might have one more tomorrow. We did get a deal with Jock Market, so if you haven't signed up yet for them and you want to sign up using code Gundacker, we'll give you more information later. But it's a pretty sweet deal that we got going on with them. It's another way to support the stream, support the channel. So yeah, use that content to your advantage. One more look at the chat, and then we will start going into the game by games here. Quan says Bismack Biyombo went stupid for me. Yeah, I only had 8%, if that. He definitely made it to the top lineups for me. Man, Chronic, I just noticed our head space ratio is so different.
I zoomed in. I look compared to you.
I mean, you're just in it, bro. I don't even.
Dude, you got the 2 monitor action, man. I don't like that. I prefer to be on my laptop.
You're an animal.
Yeah,
no. What?
The Stone Ages, baby.
Have you ever tried 2 monitors? Because I've never heard someone who's tried 2 monitors say they prefer one.
I've done it for work, man, and it's cool. I don't know. I like the zone in, man. I'll be in my own little world.
All right. Well, you're the weirdest person on the planet. Got it. We found him. We were looking for you. We found him. Arizona drama. What up, Arizona? Says had a big hit last night on Fanduel. Tucker, man, he went off. Faded LeBron too. Woo, Sykes price too low. Sykes went all the way off last night. That was nuts. And what up, Willie Lewis here? Who you liking today? 2K Profit. Nice drama. Nice. That's huge. We love that. Words with Friends. Bro, Words with Friends would be weird. My girl's been watching. She's been binge watching Ink Masters, and I don't know why, but the word tattoo, just like it's one of those words that just sounds so weird. Like, I don't know. And they say it, they like enunciate it every time they mention the word tattoo, and I don't know. Like every time they do it, it like triggers me.
I struggle growing up. I struggled spelling it. I know it's double T's, double O's now, but beforehand, big struggle.
Scalp would work also. Is scalp the past tense of sculpt? Scalp.
To me,
scalp means something different from. I don't know, man. I don't want to scalp the slate, bro. Maybe I do. I don't know. Oh, what are you gonna do?
It's something totally different to me.
What's up, John? What is that? Hector in the chat? What up, Hector? Man, he said, "How's the NBA DFS season been going?" It's been going really, really good. But you have to, like, if you missed half the season, Hector, and you're just now like curious, Whew, it's essentially like playing the last week of NBA DFS every week, which is profitable, but you got to put in some work. You got to grind the news out there. Do you like Sykes on Fanduel? I think we saw that Brogdon's still out, so yeah. You like Portis with Giannis out? It's a boost for Portis. I think we'll get to that, but I think the last time I looked, I didn't feel like there was extreme value at the price points. There's definitely value worth getting to. 64, actually, yeah, Bobby Portis has been reduced quite a bit. So yeah, I do like Bobby Portis, and that FanDuel being power forward eligible is really, really good. Iced coffee with mini marshmallows. I'm with that. What up, Sean V? Yo, Sean, you been in jail? Where you been? Did a weekend at the county? I haven't seen your name in chat in a minute. There's Luke in the chat. What up, Luke? You're holographic. We're gonna get holographic Chronic and holographic Raj on one of these streams. Hopping back. All right. Well, welcome back, Hector. Welcome back. Let's talk about it. Philadelphia 76ers at the Orlando Magic. Game number 1 on the docket. 213 is our total. 9-point spread in favor of the visiting Philadelphia 76ers. Seth Curry, Furkan Korkmaz, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid. Our projected starting 5 on the Magic side. We're looking at Cole Anthony, Gary Harris Jr., Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr., Mo Bamba. Sixers side, we got news last late that Tyrese Maxey was out. Wasn't sure if that was going to insert Shake Milton to the starting lineup. That's not what happened. And then today, Shake Milton's just straight up out, so we can put deep minutes on Seth Curry and also Furkan Korkmaz as potential guards to pick up some of that slack. And generally speaking, the Sixers team is pretty obtainable. Joel Embiid is the one guy that you got to go up there and get. He's about 11K on both sites. Last slate, he made an impact, quick, fast, and in a hurry against the Rockets. And today, he's one of the studs. We got 11 games, so there's going to be plenty of guys to go up there and get. But Joel Embiid is definitely one of them. And, in the split, he does have every bit of 70-plus fantasy point potential. So definitely in consideration off the bat. It is a 9-point spread in favor of the Sixers. We've seen them just have an incredible knack for, we say playing down to the competition, but at this rate, they're just like, they're just average on the road the last couple seasons. So I don't know that I completely and wholly trust in this 9-point spread. But I guess it is something to be cognitive of going against this stronger than lately have been Orlando Magic. My alphabet crook chronic. I got away with words. Bars. But on an 11-game slate, I do got to keep the player pool as tight as possible. So looking at the Magic side, with Cole Anthony back in the mix, I do feel like I could start feeling less excited about a couple of price points that maybe reached a higher than normal level, like a Wendell Carter Jr. 7'5", 7'6". Like how much meat on the bone is there versus the field, or what the field's going to give me, or the rest of the slate's going to give me. Can he get to 40? Absolutely. Is 40 going to be that much of an impact play on the slate? And is it going to be a likely an optimal score at this price point? In my initial reaction is probably not. Mo Bamba's still struggling to put a deep minute projection on him, but I think he's cheap enough that per minute you can make a case here. I do think there's some pivots and alternatives at the price point. We're going to be talking about Jakob Poeltl. We're going to be talking about potentially Hassan Whiteside, Daniel Gafford, absolutely. Plenty of guys that maybe have more solidity in minutes projected. Bobby Portis even 6,400. So I feel like it gets pretty easy pretty quickly to start ruling out a lot of Magic from consideration. I do think Cole Anthony's one of those guys that here and there will drop 50, 60 fantasy points, but he can't play all the guys that go off. And I think the Magic, if I had to start nominating a team early on to get the old X button, I think the Magic could be that team for me. But the Sixers are worth looking at. First of all, it's worth noting Tobias Harris spent a couple years in Orlando, so he might have some some extra emotions going back into this game. 7,100 on FanDuel, 8K on DraftKings, definitely a chip in a chair for 40 plus. But Seth Curry, Furkan Korkmaz, those are the two that I think we owe it to ourselves to make a strong decision on, because this is an opportunity where there really is plenty of minutes to go around for the two of them with no Maxey, with no Milton, and then the wing gets a little less beef in their minute projection or their minute dilution with Matisse Thybulle out. So plenty of strong minute projections to be had on the Sixers, and the Magic, even though they're healthy, when they were at their strongest earlier this season, they still were not a great defense. It's overall going to be a pace down spot. But the minutes and the projected uptick in usage for a few guys on the Sixers at least has me wanting to introduce a couple of these Sixers into the player pool. The three that stand out, really the four: Curry, Korkmaz, Tobias, Joel, and Embiid. Chronic, do you feel enamored by a Sixer stack or any of these Sixers individually?
Sick that I missed the Korkmaz train the other day, but I think you could go back to it today. He's going to be extremely chalky around, probably, I can imagine around like 30 to 40% because he's still on DK under 5K. I think he's 4,700. Let me
Yeah.
check before I lie. Yep. So with that being said, not much resistance when it comes from the backcourt of the Orlando Magic. I think they are basically middle of the pack there, but they're not. There's nothing there that's going to scare you. Gary Harris, Cole Anthony. The only Magic I would consider playing is Franz Wagner. Even because he's only 6,400, and just know how involved he is with that team and with that offense. Maybe worth a chip in a chair, but I wouldn't. I'm not touting him. I'm just saying that's the only guy I'll really look at. Tobias Harris, can he get another triple double? Who knows? I think the big question here is, like you were talking about Seth. I think you could actually go without Seth. I know that he ended up having a decent game at 5'8". No, he was 6K last game against the Rockets and put under 30 up. I think that's like a forgettable performance. I don't think Seth has that true ceiling to get you what you want. Like, can Seth drop 40? Could he? Yes, ideally. Like, that's what we like to think about. But like, what's the chances of that happening? 11-game slate, taking my money somewhere else. So I'm probably going to get a little bit of Korkmaz, maybe a little bit of Embiid, just have a sprinkle in just in case he drops another 70 because the matchup is really good against Mo Bamba. But other than that, this game is basically an X out for me.
See, I'm a little bit more lenient on expectations for Seth Curry. I do feel like there's a reasonable seesaw to be I don't know, to anticipate between Curry and Korkmaz. Korkmaz has evolved on DraftKings on FanDuel to 6K, under 5K on DraftKings. I'm still interested, but when I look at why he popped against Houston, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, and 24 points. I do wonder if the more median range of outcome is closer to high 20s, maybe 30s. I got him right about 30 fantasy points, which on FanDuel really wouldn't be that much of a priority click at 6K. And on DK, I'd take the 30. I absolutely would. But on FanDuel, yeah, I think he's priced up to where I could maybe live without prioritizing getting him into like a tier 1, tier 2 levels of exposure. But I also feel like, do we believe, like the Rockets, there's not many matchups that get better than the Rockets, and in that incarnation of the Rockets team, that was a game without Kevin Porter, without Christian Wood. Do wonder if that was just like a really good opportunity for him to have one of those out of body games, and in this game be a little bit more realistic. So like if he did get to a high 20s, like I wouldn't be stunned. So maybe at least taper your expectations and be modest, maybe moderate versus what the field might come in as.
Definitely not projecting a 50 ball, right? Like you said, we got him for 30 on the spreadsheet. At 4,700 on DK, I mean that's like a 6.4x value, something like that. It's really good. And we're not gonna get into the whole value thing, but I think like I said with this guy, it's one of those minutes equals money type thing. And you were talking about the matchup. I mean, while Houston's terrible, I mean so is Orlando, right? Like Orlando has less wins, 3 less wins than Houston does. And like if you could see on the spreadsheet, the DVP is red, so that means
Yeah,
it's good for us. Yeah,
it is a good matchup. The Magic have really not been healthy, and I do think a slower pace and having Wendell Carter, Mo Bamba, Franz Wagner on the court, I do like basically I want to pull away from 11 rebounds. Is what I want to do.
yeah, I could definitely see that. It's still a pace up spot for Philly though. They're gonna have
Mm.
to run faster than what they do because Orlando is not as fast as Houston.
I say maybe,
Yeah,
but I always say pace really comes down to
so who's
who's
winning?
winning,
Yeah,
right?
good point.
And if
Good
the
point.
Sixers are hanging on to a near 10-point spread, then yeah. Tobias
That's
Harris
fair.
is 7,100. I think I could really get behind that on FanDuel. Looking at the small sample size that we do have for this Korkmaz, Curry, and Embiid split on, Tobias Harris actually leads the team in assist percentage. Maybe that's something to keep in mind for maybe a prize picks prop. That's only 45 minutes of sample size. But over a fantasy point per minute at 7K, I do think the minutes will absolutely be there for him. If you love narratives, a little extra happiness being back in Orlando. And I think 7-1 leaves me a little bit of meat on the bone for what I know his upside could be. But yeah, generally speaking, I don't think we have to prioritize this pace, this total, this spread, all that good stuff. But if I do get to this game, which I will, it's mostly almost exclusively going to be on the Sixer size pending impending news from the Department of Redundancy department. Let's get caught up on chat. We're going to move on to the next game. What up, Zach? Scott says, Embiid playing great basketball right now, low ownership in a good spot. My favorite spend up tonight. Zach, I think that's completely justifiable. Looking at all of the guys on the slate, Jokic is the only guy that's more expensive than Embiid now that we have Giannis out. Harden, you got to wrestle with Kyrie being back. Is that going to be a ceiling spot anymore going forward at this price point, or should Harden be more of a 10K player with Curry or with Kyrie? Then Steph Curry's on the slate. His ceiling has been volatile. Kevin Durant, same situation with Kyrie. Trae Young is questionable. Luka's fine. I don't mind Luka. It's Dirk Nowitzki night. So already we're getting a process of elimination where you could really clear up the path to Joel Embiid being one of the more solid studs on the slate. I think I actually had Sabonis as the highest projected player earlier. Oh no, I had Jokic, but I have Embiid third. So if Embiid has a reasonable range of outcome to be a top 3 raw point scorer on the slate, then yeah, I don't mind him being one of our more sought after pay up options for sure. So I'm in agreement with that.
Though, right? Like if your stud is done, you're sweating the whole night. Which is, who cares at that point, right?
Yeah.
I definitely think that Joel is going to be probably sub like 8% owned tonight. Like should be able to get it done here. You're just hoping the game stays close. Trae Young's my guy tonight. I don't want to get too far into foreshadowing, but I'm a Trae fan tonight.
Gotta make sure he plays, but I'm with you. And one of the things I saw earlier is that looking at the pricing, like pricing is as tight as we've seen for 11 game slate now. A couple guys may get scratched later in the night to open things up. There are some egregious errors like Christian Wood. Hero is pretty cheap on Fanduel. Like there are some guys that stand out, but because it's an 11 game slate, you usually don't have to deal with egregious ownerships, right? You don't get coagulated with 4 guys at 50% own. So I think in that sense, it might make this slate a little bit more fun. And then you said if Embiid does reach single digit to low teens, I think that could be the case with a lot of players. And those are my favorite types of slate to play because it feels like the olden days of DFS with ownership. So what up, OG Crypto? What up? Fish fan in the chat here. What up, German? Christian Wood at $26 on Yahoo's just downright stupid cheap. Yeah, everywhere knocked him down. Like I said, Christian Wood on DraftKings came in at 6,200.
That's wild.
Like what is that? Like, is this a joke? DraftKings? I don't know. Did the algorithm divide the last 2 games by 2 and say, oh, he's only getting 4 minutes? I don't know how this happens.
Probability, or actually, he didn't get ejected. He just didn't come back in the game.
Yeah, no matter what though, like it's a dumb price. Assuming, all right, yeah, there's still like unquantifiable variables based on the Rockets situation with KPJ and Christian Wood, but the price point's terrible. So there's a couple guys like that will stand out, but for the most part, I think we should have a pretty flat slate in terms of ownership, right? What up, Frank? Luka, Dirk, damn with that. Yahoo's so easy. I already won $500 this week in tournaments. Yo, German, I was actually talking to Luke in DMs earlier about Yahoo content a little bit more. Try to find the niche within the niche, underserved sites that could use some more content. And he said he jumped on Yahoo last night, tested out. And like I told him, Yahoo's definitely the most profitable site to play on. Just it doesn't attract a lot of players consistently because there's not the 100K to first, and the average DFS player is more so looking for life-changing money than just grinding that steady profit. So yeah, if you guys are out there and you respect profit and ROI and just grinding money, a couple $100 a week, Yahoo might be the way for you, and maybe we'll have some more content coming soon. Like I said, we will be pumping out pretty consistent jock market content. Just struck the affiliate partnership with them earlier today, so look out for a video in the morning on that. But maybe we can get some Yahoo stuff going as well. Yahoo's really, really profitable. What up, darn it, Yurt? What up, John? I'm here for Chronic. Not me.
Yeah.
Here for Chronic. Oh shoot. I just accidentally. Oh, there we go. For some reason our most recent sub name bleeds over. Alright, shout out to Danger the safety dog again. What up, E Brown? Quan, PJ Washington on track to play. Good to know. All right, let's move on to the next game. If Norris starts and plays, who likes him on Fanduel 4600? Should be a good play. What up, Jay? Yahoo's the best. Won 30K on Sunday. Check out Yahoo. And Yahoo, man, they have the lowest rate. They have a lot of overlay built in. I will say as a MME player, there's areas of opportunity for live lineup management. But if you do prioritize money, there's plenty of incentive to play over there consistently. Houston Rockets.
My bad. Can you late swap on Yahoo?
Yeah, you can late swap. You can see his fee upload. The biggest issue with Yahoo is like if I'm running 100 lineups or whatever, the live lineups page doesn't. It's very hard to navigate, and it doesn't like sort by highest score lineup or nothing like that. It's just lineups, and it's like by no rhyme or reason. So that's like the biggest gripe I've got, because you don't really know. Like if I'm looking on Fanduel, if I'm looking on DraftKings, and my lineups are doing well or not doing well, I can't really see what I need to do or what's live to make some late swaps to make that lineup a little bit more EV for tournament purposes. But that's the main gripe. If you're not a Mad Century player, then you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, we do have Yahoo coded into the spreadsheet, and it's been like that for years. But I don't know. I'm on a little rant. Rockets at the Wizards. Next game on the docket. Projects 35 for the Rockets. Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Eric Gordon, Jayshawn Tate, and Christian Wood taking on Bradley Beal, Contavious Caldwell Pope, Danny Advia, Kyle Kuzma, and Daniel Gafford. 229 is our total 7.5 point spread. Favored the Washington Wizards. So we start thinking about some of the games on this slate. This has to be one of the more lucrative upside spots, I think, on the slate in terms of fantasy production, fantasy potential. We mentioned earlier the Rockets could be very, very hard to predict. Kevin Porter Jr. In the most recent game that he was active, pulled an Antonio Brown at halftime, left the arena, and then Christian was suspended after refusing to check into the game in the second half. Those are definitely it's kind of I don't know how to dance around the subject, right? I think from a DFS standpoint, we got to play with the numbers and the projections, and we can't really overthink what is and what isn't happening. I mean, you can, but from what a content creation standpoint, I can't just start speculating where my headspaces are and stuff like that. What I would probably say is just based on my projections, the only guy from that pair of controversy tandem is Christian Wood for me. At 72 on FanDuel, I can get to that, but at 62 on DraftKings, that just seems like a way too cheap opportunity. 40 plus fantasy points. Şengün is still down, and this is one of the better matchups in all of basketball. The Washington Wizards center spot has been bleeding fantasy points to opposing bigs. So I'm definitely going to invest a lot of Christian Wood equity, or a lot of equity into Christian Wood on DraftKings, and I'd be getting there just as much on FanDuel. With these guys back in the projected rotation, we could get a Rockets lineup that doesn't have many guys getting to 30 minutes. And I think on an 11-game slate, we do value the propensity for 35, 36, 38-minute players. So I don't have to make a lot of priority plays on the Rocket side, but I still think this game is viable enough to make some of these Rocket players in play. The Wizards are where the bulk of my interest will be coming from. First and foremost, first things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Spencer Dinwiddie, still out. Montrezl Harrell, still out. Anthony Gill, still out. Not insignificant, because he was a guy that closed over Gafford 2 games ago. And we saw this Wizards team run that track meet against the Charlotte Hornets and provide a lot of fantasy value i.e., Kyle Kuzma and also Daniel Gafford, who I did tier one that night. Bradley Beal still extremely viable on both sites, 9.9 on Fanduel, 10.5 on DraftKings. Will lead the team in usage, will likely tie or lead the team in minutes played, and the Houston Rockets are about as soft of a matchup as you can ask for in all of basketball, and it will be a pace-up spot for the Wizards. So all of the Wizards are in play, but Beal, Kuzma, and Gafford are easily the first three. It should be noted that Raul Neto is back in the mix, so they could throw us a curveball here and maybe start him and bench Advi or something like that, or him spell a few minutes off the bench. That could be a range outcome here. I usually don't make Neto a priority, but I would say if you believe in him getting 25 to 30 minutes on DraftKings at 3,300, that's a really soft landing for a really huge matchup with a lot of upside. So Neto could be a guy to put in the value pool here. Last time he got 29 minutes against the Utah Jazz, was good for about a point per minute. So I don't mind Neto on DK at all. But Jesus, Chronic, you said it sounds like you're interested in the Wizards here. How much and how many Wizards is too many Wizards? And what kind of exposure levels are you thinking?
Yeah, man. So the best time to wear a striped sweater is all the time, right? Even though so even though it was pink, it was a little bit stripes on that sweater, man. So with that being said, Kyle Kuzma. So you telling me this man goes off for the last couple games and gets a price decrease of it was $300,
Mm,
but in a nutty matchup here, I think this is insane. I think 40 minutes he went 40, 39, 33, 33. Montrezl Harrell, you didn't mention, but it's also still out. Thomas Bryant, another big is out. Rui Hachimura is out. You mentioned Anthony Gill as well. At some point, you got to play this guy the whole game, and the coach has, and it's at 7-7. I want all of that. I know you had mentioned earlier about prize picks or whatever. One thing I noticed that his prize picks is at 9 rebounds. He's
mm.
cleared that over the last 3 games. So since his minutes has been increasing, and we know that Kyle Kuzma's lived around that 8, 9, 10, with people being back and healthy. So I'm on that. I'm on the nine. The nine. I probably think he gets a double double easily here against the Rockets. So sign me up for some Kyle Kuzma. You got point guard Bradley Beal, like you say. Even with Neto being back and starting, I think Bradley Beal is going to lead the team in obviously usage, but 2 assist rate as well. He scores, he assists. He's going to have easily a 30 to 32% usage rate. So give me some of that as well. And then like the number one DVP matchup you mentioned with Daniel Gafford. Those are the three I'm going to have. I'm going to cap the Houston Rockets at 3. I don't think I'm going to get any Neto or any Corey Kispert. Maybe you could talk me into some Denny Avdija just because the Rockets are just so bad everywhere. But it's an 11 game slate, right? So I'm not trying to have 4 of one team. But I'm really, really on Kyle Kuzma train today. Probably gonna have anywhere from 30 to 50% of him in my 20 lineups. And so yeah, he's the one I'm the most bullish on.
Kuzma. Best time to wear a pink sweater. That's how the bitch should go. That's how the bitch should go.
It definitely should.
Yeah, you can have that one back. Use your time machine for that one, buddy. F your parlays. All right, Bradley Beal on the court, Spencer Dinwiddie off the court. We have seen Beal. What is English today? Beal sustained a 31% usage rate, 1.2 fantasy point per minute. Kuzma about a fantasy point per minute, which is fine if he's going to play 40 minutes, which is what we saw last game. And then Neto, like I said, I think Neto I can get to on DraftKings a little bit. Obviously, Neto has a propensity to be a less than stellar play, but in this situation, I do think there is opportunity for him to be great. But Gafford, absolutely somebody that I'm interested in. Just looking at Wizards prize picks props here. By the way, chat prize picks, sign up using code Gundecker, get double your first deposit up to $100. And leaning on their projections, they got Bradley Beal for 50 fantasy points. That's the same as FanDuel scoring. That's a lot. And I have him for 54 myself. So what that's telling me is that Bradley Beal is projected by a lot of models to be a really great play today. And Kyle Kuzma's moved to 9 rebounds. I think we saw 8.5 this morning, but it still looks like there's some meat on the bone at that number. And
You
then
see Gafford line? 34 and a half fantasy
Yeah,
points. I like
34 and a
that.
half for Gafford fantasy-wise.
Mhm.
And like I said, there was just no Montrezl Harrell. And like I said, the only reason he didn't get these type of minutes 2 games back is because they opted to close with Anthony Gill. And then the next game, Anthony Gill was out. So we saw Gafford get up to 35 minutes. So I definitely think even if he's just a point per minute, which is a reasonable expectation against the Houston Rockets, 34 and a half is something that he should be able to clear. And one thing about the Houston Rockets is they allow a lot of stocks. I mean, a lot of them. If you go look at this team metrics chart in the rundfs.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, they are allowing steals per game allowed. They are allowing the most steals per game in the NBA by over 1 on top of the Lakers. And then when it comes to blocks per game allowed, they are third most. So a guy like Gafford could pick up a couple extra blocks, but a guy like KCP maybe could stock his way into a relevancy. But I really like the upside on Gafford. I think this prize picks number on Gafford is something that I would be heavily leaning the over on. 34 and a half fantasy points, and yeah, so I'd be there on that. I think the Rockets are you getting to any Rockets other than Christian Wood maybe on DraftKings?
I don't think so. Just really quick though, just you were talking about prize picks. Kevin Porter Jr.'s line on real points. Obviously, like I said, we don't understand the minute situation right now if he's going to get benched, whatever, right? We're just saying he's going to play, get his normal minute allotment. It's at 13 and a half for the guy who shoots the most on their team. Seems kind of criminal to me. And that's Kevin Porter, not Jalen Green. Jalen Green's is usually around that point, and Porter's usually around 17, 18. And it's really low right now.
He's the one I don't know with this because on top of his disciplinary issues, he has been dealing with this thigh contusion. And I guess they used that thigh contusion as the excuse for him not playing second half last game initially, but
Mm-hmm.
was it nothing? You know what I mean? So I do get a little bit tentative when it comes to these guys. I wanna attack minutes on a high total, but I don't have a lot of deep minutes on the Rockets as of now. Daniel Tice has been a de facto next man up for the Rockets the last couple games. I think we can not mess with him with Wood as long as Wood's in the projected starting lineup. I can not get to Daniel Tice on this side slate, and I could really concentrate on Wizards exposure for me. Let's get caught up on chat before we move on to the next one. Encore says, Chronic's a G.
Yeah, my man.
Looks like Big Bino. What up, Bino? Gun. What the F is up? Love your take. Didn't know you did live. Oh, man. Appreciate that, Bino. I could say some of those words on TV. What up, Keith? Who's guarding KPJ? So I like the potential of KPJ, and maybe we get one of those I don't know, extra emotion games where he tries to show off. But I just think that type of stuff gets so slippery slope to try and call that I just really got to focus on the minutes, and I don't know that I get to an extremely deep minute projection. Nurkic, Gafford, or Portal, 6K center. Who do you like the most? That's a really good one. I think Pirtle might take a little step backwards right now. We'll look into that one in just a second. I like all those guys' points per dollar, and I think Nurkic is a monster, but Nurkic always has that glass ceiling in minutes, it feels like. And if I had to let minutes be the tiebreaker between the three, it's probably Gafford. So I guess Gafford. Randall Clarkson, better off since leaving. Yep, Yo Gun and Chronic. How's this sound? Sykes, Beal, Nas Little, Miles Bridges, Gafford, Anthony Simons, Franz Wagner, and Christian Wood. Yeah, I got no specific pushback at any of those players.
Qualms with that at this moment, but just be flexible, right? We still got like 4 hours to lock.
NBA is pretty cool. All right, let's move on to the next game. Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte Hornets hosting the Detroit Pistons. I read it, and whatever.
Clip that.
That Plan B is pretty good. I'm just gonna have out of context gun clips.
Yeah,
I'm out here. I'm telling you, I'll never make president with some of the stuff that is slipped out. Detroit Pistons project starting 5 tonight. Killian Hayes, Cade Cunningham, Ham Diallo, Sadiq Bey, Trey Lyles taking on LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, Miles Bridges, and Mason Plumlee. 228s are total 10-point spread in favor of the home team Charlotte Hornets. The Pistons got a little healthier, adding Killian Hayes and Cade Cunningham back into the mix, also getting back Trey Lyles. So while they're still a very below average NBA team, they aren't limping as heavily as they were. Ham Diallo really hasn't recovered from those spike games price wise. And now we have three Pistons at 82, 83, 83 on DraftKings, 75, 75 AK on Fanduel. And I have an inner monologue wrestling with itself because that's an awful lot to pay for any of those Pistons individually, but it is the Charlotte Hornets. So I think my happy medium, Chronic, was to focus on Sadiq Bey on PrizePicks. I looked earlier and I liked the line, but while we're here, let's put these three guys on. First of all, we love picking on the Charlotte Hornets. They run such a fast pace. They have a really good offense, but defensively, they have some areas of opportunity. You ever use that one? You're in the corporate world now, right? For
you talk areas of opportunity.
Areas of opportunity.
Or opportunity for growth. That's what they use on your performance review.
That's a game changer. That's such a it's the corporate insult to say you're bad at this. I remember the first time that was used on me, I was like, I'm sorry, what was that? And then I was like, I like that. I'm gonna start using that. They got some areas of opportunity to get better. It's like an opportunity. What was I doing here? All right, so let's take off Jeremy Grant. And let's just put Cunningham and Sadiq Bey on the court. And I'm going to get a couple of loose numbers here, right? Obviously, there's a couple more outs that could concentrate the minutes a little bit. But 200 minutes of just Cade Cunningham and Sadiq Bey on the court with Jeremy Grant off the court. 130 of those have Isaiah Stewart. But in just these two, focusing on these numbers, both guys over a fantasy point per minute. Cunningham's at a 34% assist rate, and Sadiq Bey is at a 22.5% usage rate. And in that last game, Cunningham's first game back, we saw Sadiq Bey continue his stretch of big points, 34 real points against the Milwaukee Bucks, and a lot of minutes, 39 minutes. So earlier this morning, I think I liked the line on Sadiq Bey. I don't know if it's adjusted since. They got him at 21 points, Chronic, against the Charlotte Hornets, a matchup I already love. He's likely playing deep minutes. My initial projection put him at 40 Fanduel points, and they got him at 35. So I don't mind looking at the Fanduel points or the fantasy points either, the same as Fanduel. But 21 real points feels like a real reasonable spot for a guy who might get 20 shots against one of my favorite matchups. Would you be okay with a Sadiq Bey over real points instead of playing him at AK?
Yeah, and the biggest thing with Sadiq Bey is like while he is shooting a ton, do you see how many threes he's shooting too? The last three games, 13, 12, 13. That's damn near Steph Curry numbers at that point. I'm not saying he's hitting them in that clip, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying in terms of attempts, it's over half his shots. And like I said, the Hornets, who on that perimeter are you scared of? Are you scared of Gordon Hayward, Miles Bridges? No, Mason Plumlee doesn't guard him. So I like Sadiq Bey today. I definitely like the points there. My favorite Piston, just back to DFS, is Trey Lyles. 4,700. You talking about a guy that's going to get? I think we have him for 33 minutes, and I think that might be conservative. I think that Trey Lyles is going to be the nuts today. I can see him going full 40 ball in this spot, man. To be completely honest with you, he's a guy that he's going to be out there with a bunch of high usage guys. So maybe his usage rate that you've seen when he's coming off the bench of that 26%, 27% may go down. But he's really the only big that they got. There's Stewart out. There's another guy, another big Livers, and Livers is the big, but Olynyk is out as well. They gotta play him. He's good. He's going to get the run, and the DVP matchup is there. Give me some of that Trey Lyles today.
Let's go. I like that call quite a bit. Is Trey Lyles power forward eligible on any site? Let's see. Lyles.
Okay, he is.
All right, Control F Lyles in the old RunDFS.com NBA spreadsheet. So he's power forward eligible as well.
Only on
Fanduel. Daddy like. Yeah. I bit my lip when I did it. I don't know. My girlfriend's probably
Oh, poor Danny.
center only on old Yahoo. So yeah, I get behind some Trey Lyles. A lot of those guys you wonder first game back how many minutes they played, but 34 minutes off the rip against the Milwaukee Bucks. That's a good sign. Plus matchup for everyone involved. I don't overthink the spreads here for the Pistons because they're almost always in a 8 to 12 point spread or something like that. So yeah, you can give me Trey Lyles, the most reasonable of all these guys price wise. Killian Hayes is at a 3,200, where if he hit at that price point against Charlotte Hornets, wouldn't be surprised. But chat included in this question, gospel, the book of gun, right? Stack against the Charlotte Hornets. Thou shalt stack against the Charlotte Hornets. Thou shalt stack against the Charlotte Hornets. Are these price points too much for you on an 11 game slate to feel great? I did get over 40 fantasy points for Cunningham and Sadiq Bey on Fanduel. Sadiq Bey just south of 40 on DraftKings. Could you get to Cunningham or Sadiq Bey in 2025 lineups, or would you need to elongate on that to 50 plus?
Yeah, definitely in your pool, especially Sadiq Bey, the way he's been playing. You got these guys are getting deep minutes. We're talking about 35 plus for Cunningham, Diallo, and Bay. I think my favorite player is going to be Sadiq Bey out of the group. I
Mm-hmm.
think what Kate Cunningham is the facilitator, even though Killian Hayes may cut into that a little bit. I think Sadiq Bey has been showing I mean, I guess he's playing a Jeremy Grant role, right? We're gonna lead the team in assists. We're gonna lead the team in points. Gonna get some boards there. Especially if you think like with the Hornets, like the way how fast paced they play and how loose, stock should be there. The other peripheral should be there as well. So if his shots hitting, Sadiq Bey all day, probably another 45 to 50 bomb. So yes, but the real question I think I want to ask you is how many Pistons is too many? I think I'm capping at two, maybe three. I don't think I could get to three though. Like I'm not playing Killian. I don't know. What do you think?
I think what I would do is I'd create a fantasy cruncher group that included Bay and Cunningham, and probably say I just want one of those two. I think I don't think I get to Diallo at all. I feel like he takes the
Ask
biggest
you.
step
So it,
backwards.
it sounds like we're all off Diallo. Yeah.
And then Lyles, I wouldn't have included. I would just have one or the other on Bay and Cunningham. Probably. I guess there is a range of outcome where they both coexist, but if they both drop 40 or 50, it's a little less impactful today than it was a week ago when it was Diallo and Bay doing it at 6K. Because there's a lot of great plays today, 6, 7, 8K, where I'm going to need 50s more than likely. 11 game slate, we always sell out for sailing. So I think my approach in 20 lineups is probably one or the other.
I respect that.
The other play I like this morning on Price Picks, I looked at LaMelo Ball. He was at 6 assists this morning. He's moved up to 6.5. I felt like that was a little light. I know his assists really haven't been as strong lately. In last game, we saw Gordon Hayward get a little bit more ball handling, but it's just one of those it's the Pistons fam kind of feels. So I didn't mind looking at the 6, but that's not a lock or anything. Just something I had in mind. But LaMelo at 8,700 on FanDuel, 96 on DK. I'm getting a less than 50 fantasy point projection right now, so I'm probably not going to get there as often. I do think sub 9K on FanDuel is pretty interesting, but a fully healthy Hornets team is it's let's say it's encouraging but also scary from a predictive value. Obviously, Rozier will have those spike games where he's dropping 20, 30 real points. Saw last night Gordon Hayward do well, and then Miles Bridges can just take over as we saw in last game as well. So I do feel like it's just as a well-oiled machine, there's plenty of built-in volatility based on who's going to pop on any given day. And we saw that PJ Washington could be back in the mix, Haley Ray. So they have a lot of guys that can pop. I think every one of those guys at their prices today are viable individually, but it becomes a little harder to sink your teeth in them. An 11 game slate, if I'm focused on 20 lives, I really don't want too much volatility in the mix. I want to be pretty confident with the player pool for the most part. So, is there any high confidence for you if you had to grab one Hornets player, maybe two, from this Hornets team that you feel the best about?
I wouldn't say high confidence. If you talk about if you want to sprinkle of anybody, let's say tier 3, right? Like a 25% or a 10% or anything of the sort. Miles Bridges is 7-1. You can play the I'm coming home game. Michigan State great from I think he's from
It's
Flint.
it's in Charlotte though.
Yeah, but this is against your home team. But
It's,
yeah, so you're
it's
right.
not
It
the
is.
same, but
It's not
okay.
coming home. But yes, I get what you're saying.
Mhm.
But even outside of that, I think he projects pretty well. At 7-1 on DK, small forward, power forward eligible. Jake is gonna kill me for this, but maybe some Gordon Hayward. I'm gonna whisper that as I say it. Maybe some
Let's
Gordon
go.
Hayward. Maybe.
The
But
best
that's
time
all
to
I really
play a
got.
Golden Hayward is all the time. Yeah, I don't mind that. It's just cheap, and that's what I'm saying. Like you like each guy individually at their price point. You think Gordon Hayward could get there at 6K? Absolutely. Terry Rozier can get there. Like everyone's individual price has ceiling on it, but there's some cannibalization potential, and then there's also a world where one spikes, and if you have too much attachment to the other one, yeah, I don't know the
It's a
ebbs
lot
and
of
flows of
mouths
this
to
team.
feed. It's a lot of mouths to feed.
There it is. There it is. And then, of course, if this game did blow out, that's one of the weird thing about the Charlotte Hornets. As bad of a defense as they are, they're that good of an offense. They have a top 3 offensive efficiency in basketball while having a bottom 3 defensive efficiency. So if your offense isn't good enough to play keep up, and the Detroit Pistons have the second worst offensive efficiency, then they'll just score more points than you. Good luck.
Run you out the door. Hey, is this the Mason Plumlee? Is this the Plumlee brother that played for Detroit
I
for
believe
Michigan?
I think last year he was on he had a triple double with Detroit a
So
couple
I'm about to
times, I
say,
think.
yeah. So I'm about to say maybe this is a triple double spot.
You're
That's not that isn't real analysis. That is not real
it is,
analysis.
but okay. Space Jam reach, man. Look like MJ out there. Nah, I wouldn't get the Plumlee if Washington's gonna be back in the mix. And yeah, let's move on to the next game here. Let me get caught up on chat. Douglas says the only players I'm picking in bulk on Detroit is Lyles. There are a lot of willing shooters in that starting lineup right now. I believe. Okay, yeah, I think Lyles. I will have him separate to. I think my knee-jerk reaction is if I want to get to Cunningham and or Bay, I'm going to put those two in a group and make sure I don't get both of them in the lineup. Probably. If I get to 150, I'll just let it rip. But Trey Lyles will be a standalone. I'll take as much Trey Lyles as the Opto wants to give me. I didn't get a total on this next game. Let me see. Vegas odds. Played Rozier the other night, catch, but he didn't start doing well till the 4th. Yeah, and then if they're babysitting a decent lead, you got where Kiefer Flatliner Sykes for the win. Okay, butthole. See, I was making a 24 reference on Twitter yesterday. I don't think anybody got it. I was like, if Kiefer Sykes scores 24, you'll never hear the end of it. Beep, beep, beep. I don't think Chronic gets it. He's just awkward silence.
Oh no, I was looking at the OU for this game.
Okay, I'm looking at the same
223.
223.5, 7.5 point spread.
Yep,
For
yep,
the
yep.
Boston Celtics, 223.5, 7.5 point spread. Boston. All right,
I think
so
the Tatum got ruled in, so that's probably the reason why they had to take it off for a minute.
Spurs project starting 5: DeJounte Murray, Derek White, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and Jakob Poeltl. Am I not Poeltl enough for the Poeltl Club? Taking on Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford. And the Time Lord, Robert Williams. He's got triple-double upside, Chronic. 223.5 total, 7.5 point spread in favor of the Boston Celtics. Spurs, night 2 of a back-to-back. Derek White got a little bit of foul trouble yesterday. And DeJounte Murray did not play yesterday. So freshest legs on the court. Sorely welcomed back here against a tough matchup on the road here against the Celtics. I would say that DeJounte back probably immediately lessens my likelihood of getting to Derek White. The projection came back 30, so that's pretty negative versus what his price point is. Jakob Poeltl is about the main point of interest for me, points per dollar. I could see 30 plus fantasy points at that price range. And then DeJounte Murray has literal triple double upside. He has a propensity to be a top scorer on the slate, but against the Celtics, against Marcus Smart, against an uphill battle here, I don't feel warm or fuzzy about it. So if I get to no Spurs today, I don't feel like I'm missing out on a big play pre-flop. And I just if 10K DeJounte Murray breaks the slate, He breaks a slate. I want to do 2 point of references here. So I'm going to take off DeJounte Murray and this Wowie on-off court tool. If you guys want to use it, exclamation point AMF in the chat. It's a free tool. They do have a supported one as well, and that's the one I use. And it's nice. And you should use it too. And yeah. So we'll put Yahoo Derek White on the court, DeJounte off. Not really tweaking anything else. Of course, there is a couple other guys that have been out. But Derek White, 22% usage. Yahoo 22% usage. 1.1 fantasy point per minute, 1.2 for White and Pirtle, respectively. So now we keep those numbers in mind. We add DeJounte Murray back into the mix. See, normally you got a 50% chance of
Steiner math.
25% usage rate for DeJounte Murray, 1.3 fantasy point per minute. So a small downtick in per minute production from a fantasy standpoint for Pirtle. A definite downtick for Derek White. So there's enough of a negative effect here for DeJounte Murray on the court where, yeah, I don't think I justify Derek White at this price point pre-flop. If I wanted to put 8K on a guy I don't quite feel sure about, I'd probably just go put that on one of those Pistons guys. And then Jakob Poeltl, I think he's in the pool. Probably not the tier 1 by any stretch, but it'd be in the pool. Did fine for me yesterday. But generally, we're getting a healthier Spurs team. We're dealing with the back-to-back. Lonnie Walker, Doug McDermott down, sure. But Devin Vassell, Brent Forbes, Keita Bates-Diop back in the mix. There's enough that I don't have to prioritize anything here. On the Celtics side, they're also looking a little bit healthier, just without Peyton Pritchard in terms of notable guys. Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Dennis Schroeder, Josh Richardson. Even there's a lot of guys back in the mix here, so I would even understand not wanting to prioritize any of these guys. I mean, we're talking about 9+K Jaylen Brown, probably going to want 50+ fantasy points to satisfy that. Jason Tatum, 9.3 on FanDuel. I can understand it. Over 10K on DraftKings, still looking for that 50. That's more what the projection's giving me, 50-ish on Tatum. And then Horford's up there, 7K. Robert Williams is 7K. I just don't feel like there's a price here that I got to have. Do you disagree with that? Or is this one of those 11-game slates? Yeah, this one's not in the cut for me.
I think like everybody's priced up on both sides because of the star players being out. You got Tatum and DeJounte Murray, right? I'm trying to find a reason to like Time Lord here. It's been going off, but his price has been skyrocketing with his basically to mirror his performance. If I told you 2 weeks ago he was 4.8K, would you believe me? I mean, he was. So I don't know, man. It's probably going to be a fade for me, not an uncomfortable fade, but if I look back after the slate and start, doing some diagnosis on my lineups, if I see that I missed out on a 50 bomb or 40 bomb for Robert Williams, I might be like, damn, but like I don't think I'm willing to take that risk. It's not justifiable right now, I guess is what my point is.
I think all that, it really comes down to how many lamps you're running. I think between 25 and 50 is usually what I like to manage, and it's just like so hard. It's so hard to be profitable at 150 that I try and stick to 50 or less, and the 25 maxes just make it more convenient to prioritize that. So I feel like in 25, there's not anything here that I prioritize. I would say there's if I did get to anything, it would be who's got the best ceiling here. The healthy leg DeJounte Murray is interesting, and then Jason Tatum also a guy that can give me 50+. So I don't mind looking at those two if I had to consider somebody to pull away from this game for some upside. But I think the supplementary plays, the tertiary plays, probably not going to be from this game for me. We're going to have some easy to get to spots with a couple of outs later on the slate. Tyler Hero spiking for me without Jimmy Butler, stuff like that. So easy to write this one off for me. Maybe that makes it more contrarian, more lucrative for if it did pop, but I'm not going to hold my breath on it. Let's get caught up on chat before we move on to the next one. Chat, about 200 of you guys in here, 57 likes. That can't happen. That just can't happen. We're better than this. We are better than this. I'm going to go Sean McVay. You ever watch Sean McVay press conference after a Rams loss?
Always trying to like emotionally appeal to the team.
He always takes full blame. He's like, I gotta do better. I gotta coach better. That's on me. Blah blah blah. And it's like Stafford threw 3 picks. I gotta do better at calling plays for.
I gotta put him in a position to win.
Yeah. So if I'm watching a stream that I like and I didn't hit the like button, I gotta do better, man. I gotta do better at clicking the like button, being prepared, interacting in chat. Chat, we can do better. Let's hit that thumbs up. Let's get to 100 really quick. Really quick. The quickest we've ever got to 100 on live stream. And I would be sorely appreciative for that. Let's get caught up on chat, though, while we're here. Bucks 117 team total still implied. Yeah, they can still put up buckets without Giannis. I could still see him getting that very tough. Blah blah blah. Does Strus get more usage with Hero on the court? More usage, probably not. But we can look that up later. I don't know that there would be a lot of overlap between them anyway, unless some news came out while I was live. I was expecting. Sometimes they just keep Hero off the bench anyway, even though he plays starter minutes, just to, I guess, qualify for the sixth man of the year. So you might see Lowry, Strus, and then like Martin, PJ Tucker, stuff like that. If Doncic jumps to like 20% ownership, I'll fade. But if it's around 612, I'll be over the field. I like that. Trent's only 5,100 getting play. I can get behind that. They like Buddy Hield versus Atlanta. I like the thought of him, like the upside for shot volume. But typically after Buddy Hield has a great game like he did last night, he tends to go over-owned in the near future. And I think we just have to appreciate, one, the matchup with the Lakers being so positive, and two, the volatility of Buddy Hield being so negative. So, like is a strong word, but I understand it, right? With the 3 full fade. Hill's risky seems all right. That got us to 83 likes, so 20 of the realest OGs on YouTube.
Chat when we were at 69.
Nice.
I'm a child.
Golden State Warriors at the Dallas Mavericks. Next game on the docket. Projects 35 for the Warriors. Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, not Jordan Poole. I don't know, I wrote his name twice. Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Kevin Looney. They might put Damian Lee here. It looks like they've been trying to groom Jordan Poole to be the sixth man for the impending Klay Thompson return. So
yep,
that's how I'm going to project that. Up against Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, and Dwight Powell. Andre Iguodala. I want Andre Iguodala is out.
Idiot.
Otto Porter out. And on the Mavs side, Kristaps Porzingis is out. So narratives for guys who like narratives. I've seen it like 5 times in Discord today. I didn't fact check it. I'm just assuming it's true. Sounds like it's Dirk number retirement night. Chat, if anybody out there can corroborate on that, let me know. But otherwise, just matchup wise, Luka Doncic is interesting. Strong play in his last outing, and he but he had less ownership because of the other studs on that slate. 34 minutes against Denver, 62 fantasy points. Couple games in his last 5 where he exceeded 50 plus fantasy points. Golden State has not been a matchup that I love to pick on. I feel like if I was trying to pick a night to honor Dirk, I'd probably want a dub,
a win.
But I guess they expect the Warriors game to have more fans in attendance. I don't know. But yeah, maybe Luka shows up and shows out here. This is another game that I tell you what, man, there's probably not a lot of priority clicks for me. Steph Curry, this is becoming a kind of like, I don't know, not a secret anymore. His floor is not what it once was, and his ceiling has been, here and there, but he hasn't broken a slate in a minute. And one of the props I saw in PrizePicks earlier was his 3-point prop was at 5, which I guess is fair. He's broken 5 once in his last 4, and he'll chalk like crazy. But the Mavericks on the season actually had a pretty good limitation on 3-pointers made. But Steph Curry. But it's crazy to see people at 5 and 6. But I got no front end interest in this game. This is the story of the sites pricing people pretty appropriately, at least on the Warriors. Draymond 8K on Fanduel, 7,200 on DK. Like, you can see a 40 bomb, but you need the 40 bomb. Andrew Wiggins has had a really, really strong game as of late. Maybe that's coinciding with Jordan Poole being off the bench a little bit. I guess if I wanted to start dumpster diving, I'd start asking, who would benefit in the absence of Otto Porter, Andre Iguodala. Well, the first 2 guys I would think about is Juan Toscano-Anderson and Nemanja Bjelica. And in my early run, I went JTA in terms of the balance of the seesaw for minutes. But this is one of those games, if you got to some Curry and some Doncic, sure. But is there anybody else in this game you can't go to battle without today in 20 or less lineups?
I think that you pretty much hit the nail on the head. And I'm trying to I'll just repeat what you say. I'm gonna get a sprinkle of Doncic just for narrative, and he also has been playing well since he came back. So I'm gonna take a little bit of him, maybe like 10% stab there. I don't know what his ownership is supposed to be if it's gonna get out of hand because of that. So maybe not too much. I don't have a projection in front of me for that. But other than Luca, it's a pass for me. It's a no for me, dog.
Interesting, dog. It's gonna be a no for me. Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement here, Chad. If you disagree with that, let me know who you're gonna get to. For me, it's really nobody. I don't really see a price point worth exploiting. Pricing is ultra tight today. So yeah, let's move on to the next game. Pacers hosting the Brooklyn Nets. James Harden, Kyrie Irving, DeAndre Bembry, Kevin Durant, LaMarcus Aldridge taking on Kiefer Sykes, Dwayne Washington, Justin Holiday, Domantas Sabonis, Miles Turner. Got 224 total, 8.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Brooklyn Nets. While we've been on, has there been any underdog updates? Because this is the game on the Pacers side that does involve a couple of Q tags that we might want some clarity on. I don't see anything as of late. All right, cool. So I guess we'll go to the NBC Sports Edge depth chart page. It's a really good page if you guys haven't checked it out. It's a good way to put an aesthetic behind entire teams and then kind of keep tabs on the news. So on the Pacer side, I had listed earlier Brogdon, Duarte, Lamb questionable. I think they were dealing with conditioning concerns. So Brogdon is conditioning, will be out of the lineup Tuesday and Wednesday. So he's out. I should have put out. Chris Duarte, the list is doubtful, so that he's doubtful for this game. And then Jeremy Lamb was the other one, but it sounds like they're all going to be out again. So whatever we had yesterday is probably just the run back here. And what we had yesterday was pretty concentrated ownership on Kiefer Sykes. And I've been talking about how we go game by game here, and there's a lot of super tight pricing, and we don't have any locks. Well, Kiefer Sykes is looking like that dude. And I think this team might offer up a lot of potential, but Sykes is really, 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 really cheap. And, this might be a little bit of impulse buying after a pop game yesterday. 22 real points, just splashing threes, but he was filling up the stat sheet quite as well. My boy Luke dropped a fun nugget in the Discord earlier. He said Kiefer led the G League in assist percentage. So that leads me to believe that he's not necessarily just a shooter. He can go out there and feed the rock out. And at 3,300 on DraftKings and on Fanduel being 3,700, this just seems like core value that I don't want to overthink. If we're gonna get all these guys out and we're gonna place 35 minutes pretty confidently on Sykes, I'm just gonna let that roll. The Harden Kyrie defense is definitely something that I'm not running from, so I'll have all of that, and then staying on the Pacer side, Domantas Sabonis, 10K on FanDuel, 99 on DK. This is about the price point he was at last year, and we were paying it. Then this year he had a little stretch of underwhelming games at these price points, and players are now kind of skittish to get to that price point on him. And 29 points yesterday against the Knicks, played 39 minutes, but didn't put up a big fantasy game. I think you got to have some goldfish memory here and just honor the potential. Maybe Sykes' upside came at a little bit of the sake of Domantas bonus, but it's also Knicks not one of my favorite matchups. So this matchup's a little bit better against a Nets team that maybe takes a step backwards defensively, as they'll be able to score pretty liberally. You might worry about a blowout or something like that. The Pacers have been one of the most underperforming teams on the season. But just from an analytical point of view, if you take off Karis LeVert, you take off Malcolm Brogdon, and you leave on Domantas Sabonis, you're gonna get numbers that you feel pretty dumb for fading at the end of the night if he drops 50-60. So in this split this year, Sabonis is averaging 1.15 DKP per minute, 22% usage rate. Obviously, we elongate on that to last year. It's probably even higher. And then considering the spot, my projection brought back almost 60 Fanduel points, 55 DKP. We can use maybe the PrizePicks projections on Fanduel, see what they got on him. They got him at 49.5 as well. So a lot of models are really agreeing with Sabonis being a really strong play here. The price is where it needs to be, Chronic. Where's the confidence for you? And then leading that into the Nets situation with Kyrie back, even though he's 8K on FanDuel, KD 11K, James Harden 11K, feels like a wait and see for me on an 11 game slate. I guess I would feel a little bit dumb if Kyrie came back and they fed him some more, and he just had a huge game to say, hey, I'm back. The Cam Newton clip. But are you doing anything with the Nets specifically? But first, let me know what you want to do with Sabonis.
Hey, man, Sabonis is a guy that I don't really have much confidence in. I understand the point, and I'm going to have a sprinkle of them. I think I'm going to be under the field. So let's say that if the field is, I've seen projected, and could be here or there, right? 30%. Probably want anywhere from 15 to 20 just because I'm never on fire about playing him. I don't think that the Pacers can really keep up is my personal thing as well. We're not in the business of projecting blowouts either, right?
I mean, we
I
are.
think I mean, yeah, but I think this is like a snap. I think this is probably a smash spot for Brooklyn. Uh, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I kind of feel the same way about Miles Turner as well, man. He was projected so well last game with these guys being out. I think he's projected. You have him for almost dropping 40. No,
Mm-hmm. 40,
yeah,
yeah.
42. Exactly. So it's just like, and the minutes are there.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what the hell they're doing on the court. So I don't know, man. This is one of the ones where I'm just dumbfounded trying to project exactly what the Pacers are going to do. Really quick, you talked about Kiefer Sykes, but you didn't talk about Dwayne Washington. So he also didn't get much of a price bump. He still did decent in his minutes, right? I think he played. Pulling it up right now.
37.
Yeah, he did his thing. I had probably like I think I had maybe a little more Sykes than I had Washington last night, but I wasn't mad at anybody. I Washington's performance as well. Do you think that he's going to be like around a 30 ball today?
I think it has a potential to spike. I think looking at chat here, KJ says eye test shows me Sabonis is effing disinterested in playing. I wouldn't be stunned if that is the actual situation. I've heard trade murmurs and stuff like that. But yeah, I got him for pretty deep minutes. And as long as we're not really filling in the bench here, and Lamb, Duarte, these guys are out, I think we get another day of 35 plus minutes of action here. The environment in this game versus what the Knicks were doing yesterday is still fine. I would agree with you though. Like I don't feel great about them being very competitive for very long. So I guess I would let that be a catalyst and maybe setting my Sabonis exposure because 10K is a lot.
Yeah.
And I would also probably have to
Opportunity cost, right?
that and just maybe kind of keep an eye on the field. It seems like
Mhm.
the field, it feels like the field is low on them, like at least the general field. The sharps are still pretty much there, but I don't know. I can see it. I guess this year's production per minute hasn't been staggering, so we'll see. We'll have to see how the lineups kind of shake out. But 10K
Yeah,
just feels like,
yeah, the Sabonis play is really like, do you fade the computer or not, right? Because he's
mm-hmm,
projecting to be a good play.
yeah.
So if he is, am I surprised? No. But also, like I said, that 29, and I get that was one game. If you just, go back and look at the last five, right, you're probably happy with all of those. So
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is at that point, right? But man, it's just he doesn't get up for me, man. It's just I don't know. I have a bad relationship with Sabonis.
I can't quit you. Um,
Why can't I play you?
Why can't I play you? 39, 39, 40, 37. Yeah, one game. I mean, that's kind of
That
my
one game, yeah.
one game is not going to be enough to push me away. 9 shot attempts. What are you gonna do? Still getting to the free throw line pretty liberally too. Sabonis free throw attempts is at 5. I don't know that he draws a lot here, but anyway, for sake of I don't know, doing a little bit of research here, let's go to last season on the Nets and just kind of paint a picture on what we might expect a per minute production for Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and Harden. I would also say that don't it like I don't know. Not all of their minutes are going to be this on the court with each other, right? They're probably going to stagger. If I'm Steve Nash, I want one of them on the court at all times. But last year, we had 332 minutes of sample size of all three on the court. James Harden, 1.35 DKP per minute, and that was during the transition to letting him be the pure point guard, and Kyrie was letting that happen. So if they go back to that, Harden led the trio in per minute production from a fantasy standpoint. Kevin Durant was at $1.25, and Kyrie was about a fantasy point per minute. So at the prices today, there's enough pushback that I could understand being hesitant, but I also feel like there's enough incentive if the field has a general disgust on an 11-game slate that if a Harden or somebody like that fell to a pretty low ownership, I might allow some of the value pieces to offset the Harden price point. And it also might look at his assists here. So I guess we'll pull up StatMuse and maybe see if we can't get a couple of games of Harden. Because I feel like Harden was having massive assist games. James Harden, DKP by game log with Kyrie Irving. The last 10 games. Let's go home.
Let's go home, ladies and gentlemen.
Damn, Ron.
Let's go home. Let's go home. Let's go home.
I did say
Did Chronic
that.
say Sabonis didn't get up for him?
Oh no. All right, so the last couple of games, there's a playoff series against Boston, so that's probably not fair. So maybe let's elongate on that to 20. And this is just with Kyrie. So I don't know if I can do Kyrie and KD. What I'm looking for is assists. So a lot of 7 and 8, a couple 13s, 10s. What did they put his assist prop at today on PrizePicks? They got him at 9 assists. Oof. I could definitely see it. And like we said, he had a 36 or a 38.7% assist rate last year with the big three involved. So I might be able to buy into James Harden. That last game against the Memphis Grizzlies, it looks like they ran out of gas there at the end, and Nash just let him go. In terms of what to expect from Kyrie's minutes, the quote that I saw earlier from Steve Nash was that he thinks Kyrie is conditioned enough to start and play, and he'll kind of watch him as he goes. So F coaches, because you don't know what that means. We've seen Nick Nurse say something like that, and players get 40 minutes. So I guess real quick, would you get to any Kyrie on Fanduel, and do you have any interest in any of the Nets other than Kyrie?
Would I fault you for doing it, getting a sprinkle? No. Am I personally? Probably not. I understand it's probably the cheapest he's going to be at 8,900. I think he was living at like the low to mid 9Ks last season, but also DK is very, very different this year. On FanDuel at 8K, I could see you taking a stab at that. But personally, what I'm going to do with the Nets is to wait and see, because at some point they're going to cannibalize each other and the prices are going to go down, especially for their auxiliary pieces, right? You talk about Patty Mills, probably won't be 5,500 for much longer, right? A lot of these guys are going to get a significant reduction in price point. I'm just waiting to see on them. So realistically, I'm just interested in this entire game. Just some of the value guys: Sykes, Washington. I played Holiday the other day, last night. You know, that's how my night went. He had 6, by the way.
Was he the guy getting torched by RJ Barrett?
Indeed he was. Indeed he was.
So from what I understand, the Kyrie situation is he's going to play road games.
Yes, he can't play in New York.
Right. So the next 2 games for the Nets are at home. They're gonna host the Bucks on Friday. They're gonna host the Spurs on Sunday. Then they go to Portland, Chicago.
That Portland game is gonna be interesting. Everybody eats on Portland.
Yeah, well, they'll all be active. So, basically, what I'm foreshadowing is that the sites will somehow mess up the prices to where these guys are locks at home or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. Let me get caught up on chat. Yo, Noah C, I appreciate that sub, buddy. I said, will Kuzma get over 20.5? He got 36 last game. Should I put $350 on that? Should put $350 on Kuzma getting over 20.5 points. Against the Rockets, it is very possible. But I would say last game was one of the more optimal matchups. With that said, I expect really, really deep minutes. What did I have Kuzma for today? Player projections. We'll go Control F Kuzma. And this is from like an hour and a half ago. Oh wait, that's projections points for Kuzma.
19.9.
I haven't right at 20, so I think that line is pretty steady, Eddie. Be careful with chasing last game. I do think like I would probably lean the over just because of the matchup in the minutes. But the game was literally his best game of his life, right? So that's not going to be the standard.
But he's been smashing 20, I think, since Dinwiddie went down. Because he's second on the team in shots. So I'm not saying put 350 on it because that's steep. But I mean, I was probably going to play, like I say, his rebounds and maybe his points in a prospect parlay and different parlays, obviously. So I'm around playing it, like I'm for it. Just that, maybe not for that much. Maybe I will put 350 on it.
Craig, I think our record this season for a live stream is like 130. And we've been steady about 200 viewers, people coming and going. I'm just saying, do we got some record setters today out there in the world? Could we get to 131? Could we get to 150? Let's set the bar high, right? But you guys break 130 one time for the one time. If we get to 150, I'll definitely give away a week pass. I'll definitely give away a rundfs.com week pass. So we're setting it. We're setting it. 150 is the goal, chat. You guys want to achieve your goals. I want to achieve my goals. And if you're out there lurking and that red subscribe button's clickable, click it, man. It's free to sub. Daily live streams. We're getting more and more content creators joining the team. Look out for Luke's video in the morning. Just it's good to be around here, man. Get that content and have some fun. We're a fun guy. We're like mushrooms. Hey. Next game on the docket, Toronto Raptors at the Milwaukee Bucks. Project starting 5 for the Raptors. Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, and Pascal Siakam up against Drew Holiday, Wesley Matthews, Chris Middleton, Jordan Nwora, Bobby Portis. We got no Giannis here. I feel like I missed some Toronto news, but I guess I did not. I thought I was sleeping on something there.
Dragic, V, and Watanabe. That's nobody important.
Yeah. All right, so the big news here is that the Thanasis Antetokounmpo is questionable, right? That's the big one. Crickets.
Huge. Absolutely huge.
Like just crickets on that one. That's not what you want. All right, let's go to Milwaukee on the on-off court tool. Let's take off Giannis Antetokounmpo. So we do have a stretch this season where Drew Holiday was getting all of the run. Hey, yo. Oma. Garcia Power of Bar. I appreciate that. Follow you. My dude. Welcome to the crew. Say what's up in chat. Yeah. All right, let's put Middleton and Drew Holiday on the court. I guess it's fair to put Bobby Portis on the court, but let's see what we get here. I don't want to overdilute. Got 191 minute sample size. Usage rate is led by Middleton at 28%. Drew Holiday at 26%. Middleton at 1.2 fantasy points per minute on DK, 1.13 on Fanduel. And then throwing Bobby Portis in the old mix machine. The minutes go to 102. And Middleton still leads the team in usage. Bobby Portis, let's go home. Squeak Diesel. Yo, Squeak, appreciate that. $150 dono. So Squeak, I was wondering how you were doing the emotes, and I was looking at the analytics. Apparently, that's a thing. You can donate a message in Super Chat, or you can do like a sticker. I didn't even know that was a thing until YouTube was like, "You're getting this much from stickers every month," and I was like, "What?" So shout out for the popcorn sticker. Get your popcorn. Let's go home. Drew Holiday is just under a fantasy point per minute. Middleton 1.36, and then Bobby Portis in this split 1.5. And we mentioned Bobby Portis might have a price point worth getting to. 5,700 on FanDuel, 6,400 on DraftKings. Love that he's power forward eligible, I think, still on FanDuel. I'm getting over 40 fantasy point at his projection. Still getting 40 plus for Drew Holiday and Middleton. Holiday's definitely still not recovered from his price jump from that stretch without everybody. So at 8,200, I can still kind of justify it on DK. On Fanduel, I don't feel as enamored by 9,400. I can understand it, but I don't know that in 2025 I get there. But Middleton stands out, and Bobby Portis might be my highest owner of the three. I would assume every time this happens, we see Middleton and Drew Holiday just get ridiculous ownership. And maybe Bobby Portis is usually Middleton's the guy. So Middleton DKP by game log without Giannis and Antetokounmpo last 10 games. Chronic, some DFS players and content creators, they can make their names on winning 100K, winning milli makers, winning money. Me, I guarantee you there's no other content creator that can type Giannis Antetokounmpo as fast as I can, okay? Okay?
Claim the fame.
Okay, you know what I'm just saying.
Alphabet soup.
Last 10 games of Middleton without Giannis. Only 2 games of the last 10 did he exceed 50 fantasy points. He dropped 52 on the Atlanta Hawks, 41 minutes. And I'll double check who was in for that. And then, actually, let me close that and open up the actual game. Actually, they were both against the Atlanta Hawks. And that was in July. So July. So I guess that's the playoff series. Playoffs. And Drew Holiday did not play with, Drew Holiday did play. It was Middleton and no. All right, so it was a playoff game where he played 41 and 45 minutes. I say that to say this. Chronic, with this history, going against the Raptors, a little bit healthier Raptors, couple of defensive guys in the mix for them. If I told you 42 is the average range of outcome for Middleton today, I got him for 43 fantasy points on FanDuel, 40 on DraftKings, in an 11-game slate where if Middleton picked up 30% usage rate and you feel like there might be a glass ceiling of 45, would you opt to go against the grain at that price point, at that ownership, and try and get somebody that might give you a little better ceiling, that I might have a better matchup? I don't think there's a wrong answer here. I'm just asking from a strategic point of view. Chat, you too.
Yeah, Chalk Chris Middleton never feels super good. So if you tell me he's going to get steamed, and you said the average was 42, 43, I just heard the hey. I would fade it. Honestly. I think that he's 7,300 on DK. I think you could find some better spots. I'm gonna go look around. It just, I don't know. I don't get the warm and fuzzies about it. I never really do. I think Drew Holiday projects way better than him, even at 8,200. Toronto as a team, I don't necessarily pick on, right? I think that just outside of Giannis being out, if I just look at this game in a vacuum, I would want to get some of the Toronto Raptors guys, probably Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent, because the guys who shoot threes are the ones that always torch the Bucks. The perimeter defense is terrible. So in a roundabout way, I got away from the question. But to answer your question specifically, would I get off Chris Middleton if I know he was getting steamed? Yes, I would.
That's kind of my thing. Like, I don't think he's a bad play metrically, but on an 11-game slate, I'd be willing to just separate myself from 30% of the field. If that's just an obscure number, he just always picks up ownership. I'd be willing to separate myself. Now, if I look later and he's 15%, one, I'd be stunned, but two, then yeah, I'd just ride, with the field there. But usually, what?
So I got a 1v1 for you. Middleton's guard eligible on DK. Middleton or Kyle Lowry? I think I'm taking Kyle.
Yeah, I think I am too. I wonder if the field is the same though, but I don't know. Mm-hmm. Field is getting sharper. I have to check out ownerships in a little bit.
Okay.
Let's get caught up on chat here. Jared Bell says Middleton's a fade in tournaments. For me, I would say I'm asterisking. Here we go again. Roads. I'm putting an asterisk on fading Middleton if it's attached to high ownership based on average outcome in the past. Why am I the only one loving Washington? Like the stack or PJ Washington?
Maybe Dwayne.
Oh, okay, Dwayne. Okay. Travis Duarte, you think people Irving gonna be a tournament play since it's his first game back? Do you think people? So do we think Kyrie Irving could be a good tournament play? I don't know that he picks up ownership. I would assume everyone just thinks, oh, it's the big three. None of them go off, which is a reasonable first thought. But I also think that that's not always going to be the case. And looking at last year, Harden did benefit the most because he had an extra shooter to create space and set up. So I think the 8K price point on Kyrie, if you want to feed it, if you want to like believe that they'll feed him, right? Sometimes we see that they'll feed a guy for a special game, something like that. I don't mind that. You do worry about conditioning. Guy really hasn't played in a long time. Craig says fade for Kuzma, who is more definitely Fred VanVleet. Yeah, so let's talk about the other side. Brandon Friedman, man, I appreciate that sub. Welcome to the channel. We got a lot of minutes on the Raptors, and that's one thing the Raptors do. I said do is they play a lot of minutes. OG Anunoby is 6,400 on FanDuel. I got to him yesterday. He slow boogied to me. He got there late, but he got there. Gary Trent Jr., I don't mind him on FanDuel as well. Van Vliet, we know he's going to play a lot of minutes. We know Siakam play a lot of minutes, and Scotty Barnes play a lot of minutes. There's a big gap between Scotty Barnes on FanDuel and his DraftKings price point, almost 2K. So I don't mind looking at him more on FanDuel than DK. But I guess Van Vliet, if I'm just trying to hunt out upside, would be somebody I'd be most interested in just because of the potential minutes he could play in a competitive game. Has given you 50-plus fantasy points really in 5 games straight now. Some of these games are without a couple of the other starters here. But it's a good sign to see that he's really healthy. He's taken over 15, 20-plus shot attempts, and they're going to need him against Milwaukee. Earlier this season, 44 fantasy points in 38 minutes. You're going to want more than 44 at this price, but it's a good sign. Gary Trent Jr. is the other guy that kind of stands out to me more so on FanDuel because of this 55K is price point. He's going to chuck double-digit shot attempts, and most of them are going to be from behind the arc, and we love three-point shooters against the Bucks. And then the other guys are just kind of secondary plays that I don't have a ton of warm and fuzzies on. Siakam, 96, 91, like you need that. So I'm more so leaning to like Portis and Middleton and Drew here, and maybe a couple of shares of Trent and an Anunoby just to kind of see if they can get there, but not prioritizing much. How many games do we got?
People were asking. We have 1, 2, 3, 3 more, but no 4 more. People were asking about Boogie. You want to hit on him real quick? Do you like Boogie if he's gonna get some more run because of Giannis being out or what?
No, I don't unless. So I guess Nwora could create a lineup where Portis plays the 4 and Boogie started. I guess that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not something I anticipate right now. So from where I'm standing now, I think Boogie would come with too much volatility and uncertainty on a slate where we have decent value at center, right? Not at 4K, but we like Gafford. We like Bobby Portis, Christian Wood. So I don't feel like I want to take that risk on tonight in this, unless specifically we were like given news that he would go deep. But Boogie's big games earlier this season were really everyone was out, right? Like no one was. It was everyone. There was 3-game stretch where he got 27 minutes. I think that the average Boogie game is less than 20 minutes. So I don't think this is a spot. And Sandro's been out. So like I don't really paint a picture where I get deep minutes on Boogie, and I don't think on an 11-game slate that's a added risk that I need to accept. But what I do need to accept is that was going to be such a ridiculous segue.
Shake my head, man.
Chat, we can do 2 plugs here, then we get 4 games left. We'll try and speed run it here, so stay with me. PrizePicks.com. Make sure you guys are on PrizePicks, man. Get into those prop bets. I've already, as an example, we like a couple of guys, but they're priced really, really deep on FanDuel and DK. We talked about some of those Pistons players, Sadiq Bey. AK and DFS, that's hard to get to. Lynx Inkwell, appreciate that sub. AK and DFS hard to get to, but I like Sadiq Bey on PrizePicks. So if you guys are looking to diversify your daily spend in DFS anyway, I definitely recommend kind of attacking everywhere you can. Some of these niche sites, we were talking about Jock Market earlier, Yahoo, a little less popular, and PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the ultimate way to simplify these massive slates, 10, 11 games, where you don't have to worry about Sharks playing 150 lineups and being able to adjust to the news instantly. You guys can take advantage and isolate the sweat, simplify your approach game to game. And we have seen PrizePicks make massive, massive strides forward. So if you sign up for PrizePicks using code GUNDACKER, they're going to match your first deposit up to $100, and you'll be able to get that instantly. No slow drip, none of that play-through bull crap that you get elsewhere. And fire away, man. I do have a tab in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet called the Players Props tab. This is a companion tab to hunt out those PrizePicks edges. I like to find the differences between fantasy points that I project versus theirs. But lately I've been dabbling into real points, rebound, stuff like that. And we've talked about a few of them on this stream about ones that stuck out. I kind of like the Sadiq Bey over real points from this far out. And we did like the Daniel Gafford fantasy points. So two that you can kind of lean on if you want to tail that. And we'll be talking more PrizePicks plays as well as chopping up the slate, reacting to news, all that good stuff in the NBA VIP Discord pre-lock voice chat, which is in the premium Discord right here. My boy G Wayne already waiting on us. Get in there, pre-lock, have some fun, wind down with the boys, make your player pools, ask questions, answer questions. I just minimized everything somehow. All right, boom. And the way you can get in there is by getting behind the paywall at rundfs.com, clicking VIP memberships, and there's all kinds of passes. I believe this is the last week to lock in for the year. So if you want to lock into the year, do it now. If you use code $50, 50BUCKS, that'll shave $50 off the asking price. And then when you redeem the $150 credit to Fantasy Cruncher, it's going to be less than $40 a month, which is an insane value that we've never put up ever before. Let's get down to business. I don't want to analyze another game. What is 121 likes? Did we say 150 is the goal? 130 is the record. 150 is the goal. And then this viewer group, this chat, they'll be in the record books as the highest liked stream of the season so far. So if you guys want to,
eight off.
You know what I'm saying? You want, hey chat, you want your jersey retired? Get to 150 likes, bro. That's all it is. 130, I think I said give away. Did I say 150? I said I'd give away a week pass. So we'll give away a week pass at 150 likes. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe. Oklahoma City Thunder at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Projects 35 for the Thunder. SGA, Aaron Wiggins, Josh Giddey, Alexei Pokusevsky. Maybe I saw Jeremiah Robinson Earl was cleared. Somebody have to catch me up on that. Isaiah Roby up against Patrick Beverly, D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, Jared Vanderbilt, Carl Anthony Towns, the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd. We got 217.5 total, 9-point spread for the Minnesota T-Wolves. It looks like all of the big three are back: D-Russ, Edwards, and Cat. So there is some volatility in spike games, cannibalization here. I think Cat is a very interesting click here. Could we get an opportunity to get Cat at an optimal matchup in his first game back? Maybe. It is a pretty healthy team all the way around. Naz Reid has been involved. Nathan Knight, Greg Monroe. They've had a lot of bigs kind of fill in here. So I do feel like there's not going to be priority plays in this game for me. But I think I would want a little bit of Cat in 100, 150, and maybe a little bit of Edwards and D-Russ. But no priorities here on the Thunder side. Without Lou Dort, the most interesting name is Josh Giddey. We have seen him just be so active, so involved in just about everything. Games without SGA, games without Lou Dort, games without both. Last couple outings, 66 fantasy points, 29, 29, 30, 45. I think it's 7,900 on DK. You can live without him. But on FanDuel, I think I want to share two of them. But no insta clicks here. Do you disagree with any of that?
Don't disagree with any of that. I think there's a chip in the chair type of play, maybe a what do you call them, a value stuffer. Maybe Pat Bev at 5,600. His PrizePicks assist is at 4.5. I think that's pretty low if you ask me. So I might be trying to go after that. I understand Cat's back, but lobs, right? It should go up, or it should be decent. He's gotten 7, 6, 6, and 12 in the last couple games. But as for DFS plays purely in this game, I might play some Pat Bev. I think he could get you 30, at 5.6. But other than that, I'm off.
Yeah. Josh says SGA under 41.5 fantasy points is interesting. Minnesota solid against point guards. I got it for 43, so it's right on the button. I don't mind that. By the way, we just broke 48 or 5,800 subscribers on the channel, so the countdown to 200 is there. Less than 200 away. So we're all about goals and setting goals. New Year's, new us, bro. Get us to 6K. But yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with you. I don't think I make much happen here, and I might let the Opto make some decisions for me in mass field entry on the T-Wolves. But for the most part, both sides have enough pushback that I don't have to prioritize anything. Let me take that out. I'll come back and sweep that. Nuggets hosting the Utah Jazz. Project 35 for the Jazz. Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, Rudy Gobert taking on Monte Morris, Austin Rivers, Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic. Long story short on the Utah Jazz, we don't truly know who is playing for the Jazz. We have seen a couple of reports that at least place questionable tags on Clarkson, Bogdan, and Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert apparently didn't go through shoot around, while Hassan Whiteside did. One of those spots where I guess we just have to wait and see. And there's no shot we're getting this news by the time lock hits. So I guess if we got Gobert out, who is a reasonable 8,600 on DK anyway, Hassan Whiteside at almost min price on DK 3,500. Even in not like the favorite matchup and he could be foul prone, like that's just too cheap. You'd want to late swap into some of that if it did open up. We do know Joe Ingles is out. Looking at the injury news and notes for the Utah Jazz, if we can get Clarkson and or any of these backups down as well, we might be able to raise our stock potential in Clarkson's probable, Mitchell's probable, Bojan's questionable. So if Bojan was down, left finger spring, if Bojan was down and Joe Ingles is down, we might be able to sell ourselves on some Rudy Gay. And Royce O'Neal is questionable with a knee. So we might be able to build big minutes on Rudy Gay. I got him at 26 right now. He's about a point per minute. But if we lost Bojan, I think we might be able to push him to 30 minutes. And I think at that price point, I'd be a buyer into that. On the Nuggets side, looks like Monte Morris could be back for the Nuggets today. So that probably makes the only guy interesting to me being Nikola Jokic. He's 12K on DraftKings, 11.4 on Fanduel. I got him projected to lead the entire slate in fantasy points. You sound like you disagree. Was that a Mitchell Fanduel?
No, you had said Jokic, so I did the Nikola bit. So,
oh, yeah. Nikola. Okay. So I heard nah. Like I don't know if it cut.
Nikola. No. It's yeah.
Yeah, Jokic for me. Getting caught up on chat here. 150 likes. Did we get 150? No, we did not. I got 130. 130 chat. We know we can do this. Let's do it. It's the fourth quarter. Giddy or Korkmaz $800 difference. That's actually interesting.
Korkmaz not expensive. he's touching Giddy's price.
He's talking about FanDuel. Okay, yeah. FanDuel.
It has to be.
I'm probably going Giddy just because Giddy's got a stronger track record and more reliable. Korkmaz 11 rebounds seems like an anomaly. I do like Korkmaz on DraftKings under 5K, but I don't think our average game from Korkmaz is going to be 50 fantasy points. Man, the Houston Rockets allow great things. The Magic do too, but they're a lot slower. Yeah, right. 2 games left real quick. Portland Trailblazers hosting the Miami Heat. Projects 35 for the Heat. Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin, PJ Tucker, Omer, you're saving. Taking on Anthony Simons, Norman Powell, Nas Little, you can hate me now. Robert Covington, Yusef Nurkic. We got a 216.5 total, 2.5 points spread in favor of the visiting Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler out, Bam Adebayo out, Dwayne Dedmon out, and a big one, Udonis Haslem out. I mean, that's a lot of minute left on the table from him. Yeah, I don't know if you caught it. I said a lot of minute.
I got you.
That's the joke. A lot of minute. Anyway, Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, all going to project well. Depending on the starting lineup, you might get Max Strus exposure. You might get Kyle Guy at 3,800 on DK. I think the bulk of my interest probably going to be Lowry and Hero. I like the Hero price point at 65. I like the Lowry price point at 74. Both of those on FanDuel. Both of those projections spitting back over 40 fantasy points. I think they're a little bit more expendable on DK, but FanDuel will have a heaping of the poster boy on Hero. And the Blazers live without McCollum, Lillard, one more gain, Cody Zeller down, and Larry Nance. Patrick. Hey, Patrick. Or wait. Hey, Patrick, are you angry? Yeah. Why? Because I can't see my forehead.
Can't see my own forehead.
I think Portland is angry because they don't have any centers, man. No Zeller, and now no Larry Nance. So they might be leaning on Reggie Perry, Nas Little, a little bit more Rocco, a little bit more, and maybe, just maybe, we can feel confident in Nurkic getting close to 30 minutes. Close. He got 26 minutes his first game back. Before going down, we saw him get 33, 34 minutes, so that's a good sign that it's possible. And then in the absence of Dame and CJ, Nurkic is definitely one of the more talented guys for his price point at 6K on FanDuel. And under 7K, I can get to 40 if the minutes were there. Now, I only put him at 26 because I don't feel comfortable with predicting Chauncey Billups to give him deep minutes here, but the path to success is there. It's kind of like the other night when I didn't know quite what to put on Mason Plumlee. It's like they didn't have backups. Nurkic has a path to get a lot of minutes here. So 6K on FanDuel. I'm going to be pretty invested in Nurkic there. Nas Little on both sides projects pretty well. Extremely great on DraftKings. And then I believe he was one of my favorite plays on Yahoo. If I look at my player projections, if you guys are getting into some Yahoo action tonight, I do need to adjust the projections. I haven't touched them in like 2 hours. Yeah, Nas Little spit back almost 3x value at $13. I'm also getting Kiefer Sykes at $10. That's crazy. Matt Crawford with the sub. Appreciate that, Matt. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, Chronic. This seems like a very, very fun late night hammer game to get exposure to. I guess the biggest talking point would be Anthony Simons. He had that homage to his grandfather, went ballistic. Much like Korkmaz, I don't think that's the median outcome. I think it's a little Trae Young defense, maybe a little bit of emotion. But 37 minutes is still 37 minutes. Are you getting to 5,500, 5,300 Anthony Simons as bullish as you were the other day, or are you expecting a little bit of regression?
Yeah, a little bit of regression, right? I don't think he's going to drop 60. But do you think that, I mean, you got him projected for 35, right? Like at 5.3K on DraftKings, I'll take 35, 36 fantasy points. That's easy for me. He's probably going to be the chalkiest guy on the slate, though. So when it comes to leverage, I think that's the conversation.
I don't think he will. I think Sykes will be number one. Sykes has to be number one. That's just, okay, it has to be.
I can see that. I can see that. Well, he's dual position eligible on DK. Mm-hmm. I mean, dual position, right? Point guard, shooting guard, and guard, whatever, right? And you too. I think he's still going to be up there, right? I think people are going to game log watch, and like he was very chalk that game, mind you, 4,100. Yeah, okay, but he was like 60-70% owned, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So I still think he's going to be up there. 11 game slate. I could definitely see Sykes being up there, but you know, we saw DSJ and Anthony Simons both carry like 40% ownership in one game. Yeah. One slate, right? So I think he's going to be, if not the chalkiest, one of the chalkiest guys on the slate. So you have to make a decision based off leverage there. It's like, you know, basically, do you lock or do you fade? Where do you stand? I think I'm going to take the points.
I think this is more average. So much like I think Korkmaz had a ceiling opportunity in a ceiling matchup against the Rockets, I think Trae Young defense was a great spot.
Yes, I agree.
And I think Miami Heat, although they're not the same Miami Heat, I think their team defense and their team pace is still going to be enough to push that back down a little bit. So I probably, like if his ownership was too aggressive, I'd probably, if it was low enough to match the field and I feel like it was worth it, sure. The projection's nice, right? Like I'll take it. We haven't talked about any stone cold locks at the point guard or guard position. I think we like a lot of the value centers, a lot of the value power forwards. So maybe we take we build top heavy lineups with the high end guards, the Lucas, stuff like that. But I don't dislike Simons to play. But yeah, coming off of an anomalic game, it's not necessarily the norm to expect for Simons. But I guess in the absence of CJ, in the absence of Dame, it's not like an outlier either for him to be like 40 fantasy points here. So yeah, I guess it would be field ownership contingent for me. While I look up his production without McCollum and Dame, how much Lowry, how much Hero for you?
So Anchor was asking about low owned 40 ball, and I was like, I don't really know about low owned on
I
Lowry,
don't know
but
that he. Oh, Lowry. Yeah. Okay. That's your thought.
yeah, I was about to say I don't know about low owned on Lowry, but I think he definitely should drop 50. I mean, it's 40 today. He asked for 40 ball, not 50 ball. Excuse me. I definitely think Lowry is a really good a really good play today, and Hero as well. So if you guys noticed in the last couple slates, any slate that Portland's been on, whoever's the main guy, main usage guy, torches. From KP that other game to Trey Young last night, and it doesn't really matter on the position. It's consistent too. Like it's like Donovan Mitchell torched them. I think Devontae Graham got their ass too a couple games ago. Like it's just they don't play defense. They're trash. So with that being said, Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, hell, I might play some Caleb Martin at 4,500. He did me a solid the last game that I played him. So I think it was last slate. He ended up dropping 38. Yeah, he's went off against the
Yeah.
Warriors. So I like him. I like those three right there. Are you gonna get to any Yurt 7?
No, I think at 6K, like I understand it. It's PJ Tucker back in the mix. I think at 6K, that's right there at Daniel Gafford, at Bobby Portis, at Yusuf Nurkic. So I think I let myself walk backwards on him a little bit. The projection's coming out okay enough that maybe I try and get to some, but I wouldn't prioritize it at all. Isaiah Hickman, man, I appreciate that sub, man. If you guys are out there, hit that sub button. Hit that red sub button, man. We'll be back at it tomorrow. I'll be back at it tomorrow at we're gonna do an hour later tomorrow. It's gonna be 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. It's just a 4-game slate tomorrow with a late lock. And I think I have a new guest tomorrow. Maybe we'll have a 3 live crew tomorrow. My boy Quinn, right? Quinn, I think I penciled him down for tomorrow. Do you think that Striss being back will lower production for Martin, Hero, and Lowry? Hero and Lowry, I think, are safe standalones. Maybe you can argue some seesaw tottering for Martin. Like I said, I do think there's a world where Hero just doesn't start, but I wouldn't let that spook me because they seem to like to bring him off the bench. I don't know if it's like a stubborn campaign to get him the 6th Man of the Year award or if they just want to stagger him and Lowry. So I wouldn't overthink that. I still got deep minutes on Lowry and Hero no matter what. Strus, I got him for 35 minutes. I got Caleb Martin 33 minutes. Everyone's popping really good returns. And the Blazers, this team is definitely very, very exploitable. All these outs for the Heat, and they're still 2.5 point massive road favor, like not massive favors, but it's a big road trip for them, and for them to be favorites is still kind of showing you that the Blazers have some issues here. So yeah, we got 1 game left on the docket. Reminder, right after the stream, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. Go get yourself a week pass at RunDFS.com. Get signed up, jump in the Discord, be part of the community, and I will be listing my player pool for both Fanduel and DraftKings in this spreadsheet in the Guns DK worksheet, Guns FT worksheet tab. If you guys want to compare yours to mine, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Hawks at the Kings, main event tonight. Trey Young, maybe Cam Reddish Jr., Kevin Herter, Danilo Gallinari, Clint Capella taking on De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley, Damian Jones. 232 is our total. 1.5 point spread in favor of the Atlanta Hawks. Biggest total, tightest spread on the slate. Kings night 2 of a back-to-back up against the Lakers last night. But this game is not without uncertainty in its own right. Trey Young, not a lock to play. And that is news that we're absolutely going to want to get. I think if I had to guess, like if I had to make a lineup now, I'd probably lean him in. But yeah. He's got back. He literally has back soreness from putting the team on his back in that last game. So we'll see if now that they're getting a little healthier with Cam Reddish potentially back, maybe they opt to take him a night off. But I think I lean towards him playing, but I'm not a doctor or a rapper. If he does play, not only do I like Trey Young, but I do like Clint Capella. What was that Collins? I saw Collins was cleared, but he's not going to play. Cleared, but won't play. Yeah. Right. So Collins is cleared, but won't play. So one of my favorite splits about Trey Young and John Collins is that Clint Capella thrives per minute. So if we can get to Capella confidently minutes wise, no, Kongu is back. So I don't think that we get like 35, 38 minutes for Capella, but I do like Capella to thrive in a super plus matchup against the Kings front courts for one of the better spots all year. And then we just add in no John Collins, and it becomes that much more lucrative, at least potentially per minute. And no one's really talking about the 8K centers, a lot of 6K opportunity. 1.3 fantasy points per minute for Capella on DK, 1.34 on Fanduel, and then about 1.5 to 1.4 and a half for Trae Young. I like that handcuff. I like that pairing. And the Kings are the Kings, man. They give up blocks. They give up a lot of rebounds, and they give up the most points in the paint in the league. I don't know about you, but I don't really lean on Clint Capella to shoot threes. So I think this could be a really big spot for Capella. Sacramento, yep, the most points in the paint per league. So I like that handcuff if Trae Young did play. That might be one of those we have to be late swap warriors to get into, or take that risk now. And if we get that Trae Young news middle of the slate, we try and late swap out of it. Maybe put him in that util spot and, I don't know, 2v2 him back into some Jokic or something like that. But I think on 11-game slate, considering the total and the spread, I got to have me some Trae Young, as long as he's not officially out. On the Kings side here, there's enough volatility in this lineup where you can see a Fox spike, a Halliburton spike. Last night we saw a Buddy Hield spike. If I end up with no Kings in a weird way, I don't feel like I'm going to regret it pre-flop, but because of the total, maybe I start throwing them in the pool and expect one guy to thrive, and maybe I cap like Fox, Halliburton, Hield, and say no more than one of these guys in a lineup and just let it go from there. You have any strong leans from this one?
Yeah, I love Trae Young today. You kind of buried the lead with Capella as well. I think Capella's a good play. I'm going to have a sprinkle of that handcuff there, but Trae Young is my favorite stud on the slate. Personally, I think he's probably only behind Jokic in scoring, and I don't think it's that much. And it's a $1,300 difference. One, two, three. Yeah, $1,300 difference. So I'm gonna take Trae Young there. I really, really love him. I think he's gonna play today. If he does not, there's a lot of stuff that you can do. Like you said, you can try to find that money to get to Jokic, or you can, come down on Donovan Mitchell. You can come down on Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, guys who are still great plays, and then upgrade around. So yeah, I'm really just gonna let the optimizer do that for me. So that's not much of an issue there. It's not like he's not even 11K on DraftKings. So Trae Young, love that play. De'Aaron Fox, point guards against Trae Young. We just seen Anthony Simons just have a godsend game. I'm not saying he's about to drop like 60, but it's just a spot that I've been attacking all season. Going to continue to do that. So
The only coin flip there is Halliburton also runs point here, so it's kind of a mixed match of who gets what,
Good point. That is a good point. I think Halliburton is more of the traditional point guard. Who is Trae Young going to check? That I don't know.
Nobody.
But I'm hope it would be Fox. If Fox has 7K on DraftKings, you had mentioned that Buddy Hield had a spike game. He had 40 last game. Fox had 30 real points. The issue with Fox is he doesn't do anything else. So it's kind of like, unless he's scoring, he's always going to get anywhere from 5 to 6 assists. He doesn't get you much stocks. He doesn't get much rebounds. He doesn't really shoot threes particularly well either. So that's the risky play there is Fox, but fuck it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Anyway, we ran over. So we gotta end it. We gotta get into the Discord because we got 2 hours of crunch time to get our lineups ready for tonight's battle, man. It's gonna be a big one.
12 likes off.
We didn't get the 150. We
break the record.
We did break the record. And we'll see if we broke another concurrent viewer record. I've been smashing that like every other day lately. By I mean you guys. Can't do this without you guys. So I'll be back at it tomorrow. Remember, later locked than usual. Chronic, I'll see you in the voice chat. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. All right. Well, appreciate Chronic's help, and I appreciate you guys' help for getting me more subs today. We hit over 5,800. Look out for Luke's video in the morning. Get you some Jock Market action. Use code GUNDACKER when you sign up for Jock Market. We'll have all the information, all the benefits of using the code for that one. But otherwise, man, I appreciate you guys making part of my day, be part of your day. I hope you crush it tonight. I want to see screenshots on screenshots. If you're in the Discord, I'll be there in just a minute. I love you guys. Good luck. God bless. And go win all of the money.